Perfect.
Mhm.
Well, cool. Well, thanks a lot. And actually, some people actually showed up. That's kind of nice. Thank you so much for Meetup coming here. That's going to be a presentation by Álvaro about AI tools for Sitecore developers. So it cannot be more hyped or the newest of the new. So looking very much forward to it. All
Yes.
right. You just take over.
Okay. So thank you, Roland, for organizing this great event. So this is a good opportunity to learn more about how I am using AI tools in my day-to-day as a Sitecore developer. So let me share my screen.
And just a question, Álvaro, what do you prefer? Do we prefer that if we have some questions, we just jump in right away, or do you stop up sometimes and say, hey, do you have some questions, or how do you prefer?
I think I prefer to stop and
Okay,
see if there's any question.
perfect.
When I stop the presentation, we can have the first round of questions. If no questions, I can go to the demo.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good. Okay, you're welcome. Do you see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So hello, everyone. For today, I bring this special talk about artificial intelligence, which is exploring generative AI for Sitecore developers. Let's take a look. Our agenda for today is introduction to generative AI. What is it and why should we use it? Then the available tools for developers, how to get started, and we are going to learn how to use it in our Sitecore projects. Then I will show a comparative and given my opinion about the tools that I use. Later, I will show prompts, categories for prompts, and what are our possibilities within the Sitecore world. And the final chapter is a demo. So I'm gonna show you how I use these tools in my computer. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself for you. My name is Álvaro. I am from Brazil. I'm a software engineer with more than 11 years of experience. Most of the time focused on the Microsoft stack, so working with C#, .NET, and etc. And for the past 3 years, I've been working with Sitecore as a Sitecore developer. Current working for Silogy. I got 2 certifications, Sitecore 9 and Sitecore 10. And this year I had the honor to be awarded as a Sitecore MVP. And at the bottom, there are my blog and my LinkedIn, so feel free to contact me and discuss anything. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say that I am just an enthusiast. I'm not an expert in artificial intelligence, so my goal for today is just to share with you how I use it as a developer. A quick introduction to generative AI. What is it and why should we use it? What is generative AI? Generative AI is just a sub-area of artificial intelligence which combines neural networks and machine learning to create an algorithm. This algorithm is fed with a big amount of data, billions, trillions data, which this algorithm is able to learn and recognize patterns, which result in a new output. This output can be a text, a video, an image, code, or anything else. For today, our interest is just for code. But why should we use generative AI? So I think this is a regular question that people think about it. And here I bring 3 reasons that we should use generative AI. The first one is obvious, to learn. This is a good opportunity to learn something new. For example, you might be working in a legacy project where there's no space to apply new technologies, new partners, or best practice. But using AI, you have this opportunity to just copy and paste your code to a tool and ask if it's possible to improve something, and maybe the result is yes, we can improve it, and then you're going to learn it. So if you are working in a legacy code, for example, this is a good opportunity to learn how to use solid principles, for example. The second reason, most obvious, to save time. We can forget the manual work and focus more on the automatic, not automatic, but we can think more about the solution, the complex solution. We can use more our brain to think in the best solution for our problem. And here I bring a phrase from Jonah, which says, I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing. I have adapted it a little bit to, I want AI to do my laundry, dishes, and coffee so that I can code, because code is my art. So this is what I want to do, right? And the last reason, the third reason is a brainstorm. You can do a brainstorm with the AI. It looks crazy, but it's a good opportunity to talk with someone. And here you can discuss what is the best solution for my problem? What are all the options that I have? If I go to the solution A is better than going to the solution B, what are the pros and cons? So this is a good opportunity to learn the pros and cons of all the available options. Okay. So based on this topic, what are our available tools for developers? There are many tools available. Some of them, and starting with the most famous, ChatGPT. ChatGPT was created by OpenAI, and this is basically a chatbot. So you can ask a question, and this tool is able to produce an answer for your question. Second, GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot was created in partnership between Microsoft and GitHub, and they created a plugin for IDEs. This means that if you are working with Visual Code or Visual Studio, you are able to install this plugin as an extension, and you are able to use the features of this AI tool. Third tool, Cursor. Cursor is not a plugin or a chatbot. This is an IDE such as Visual Code or Visual Studio, which has a built-in AI tool within the software. So you just need to download the IDE, and you already have an AI assistant. And there are much more tools like Gemini from Google, AI Query to create SQL queries, Code Whisperer from Amazon, and much more. For this short presentation, we won't be able to cover everything. And our focus for today is just ChatGPT and Cursor. How to get started with these tools? Let's learn how we can use it in our Sitecore projects. Starting with ChatGPT, very simple. Just access chat.openai.com. Then you will need to log in or to register if you are a new user, and then just start typing. Very, very simple. How does it work? Well, here I have a question that I typed, create an HTML code for my sport store. Something very generic, but I'm asking for an HTML code. And here is my answer. So usually the answer has two parts, usually a piece of text and then the code. And you are able to copy this code as well. And as you can see, it was able to identify my name, for example. So you can see here there is Álvaro in the title of the code. And another thing interesting here is that there are styles. I didn't ask for styles, but the AI thought that, oh, maybe you need styles. So here is the styles as well. What are the pros and cons of ChatGPT? So in my opinion, the pros, it's free. You can use it without paying anything. It produces fast and accurate answers, and it is easy to use. It requires no installation, so you don't need to download or install anything in your machine. You just need a browser to access the ChatGPT. The cons. It has this copy and paste process, which means that you need to switch between ChatGPT and your code. So if you are coding using your favorite IDE, such as Visual Studio, and you want something, you need if you want something in your code, you need to copy your code, paste into the ChatGPT, get the answer, and paste again in your code. And the second con is there is no special features for coding. There is only a few special features through custom GPTs, which is not the same as using an AI assistant built in like Cursor or GitHub Copilot. And sometimes it can require a plus plan, which means that you needed to pay for using it. Okay, and what about Cursor? So Cursor is an IDE, which means that you need to download and install it in your machine, but it is also easy to do it. Just go to cursor.com. This is the first page. Then you need to register because you need an account to use this software, and download and install in your machine. It's very simple as well. The first screen of the software, similar to Visual Code, usually it's a black screen with a blue button in the middle. And here you are able to open your project. I opened the Habitat project in this case, and this is how it looks when you open a folder or a solution. Basically, there are three sections. The left section, which are your content tree, where you can navigate through your items, through your files. Then there is the middle section where you code, where you type your code, and the right section where it has a text box where you can interact with the AI assistant. So this is our first option to use the AI here. For example, I want some explanation. In that case, I typed, explain this code, please. And as you can see, it produced a short answer for me, just explain general things about this code. But what is interesting here is that I didn't paste my code into the text box, because this AI system is able to recognize that we are talking about the current open code. So this AI understand the context, which saves our time because we don't need to copy and paste, as I mentioned for ChatGPT. Okay. A second option to interact with this AI is just clicking in your code and pressing Ctrl+K. It opens another prompt, another text box, where you can instruct the AI to do something. And in that case, the AI is going to perform some action in your code. And in this case, I typed, improve this code following the solid principles. And the result is the AI analyzed and reviewed my code, suggesting some improvements, highlighting in red things that it is going to remove, and in green things that are going to be added to your code. And then your only action here is analyzing the suggestions and accepting or rejecting the suggestions. What about the pros and cons of Cursor? So in my opinion, Cursor, the pros for Cursor is your code is integrated with the AI, so you don't need to switch between many different tools. It is partially free, which means that we have a limited use. And it's familiar for Visual Code users. So if you use Visual Code every day, you won't see many differences using Cursor. And the cons, as I mentioned, we have a limited use. According to them, we have 200 requests using GPT 3.5 and only 50 requests using GPT-4. The second con about Cursor is the answers produced by them are shorter compared to ChatGPT. So sometimes I prefer ChatGPT because ChatGPT produces better answers depending on your code and your context, and also depend on the prompt. So as better is your prompt, the better is the answer produced by Cursor. Okay, so let's go to a comparative, and here I bring GitHub Copilot because I think it's worth it to compare these three tools, as many people use GitHub Copilot. I created this table and put some columns with things that I think it's interesting for us. Starting with the type, okay? ChatGPT is a chatbot, GitHub Copilot is a plugin, and the Cursor is an ID. Which one are integrated with code? ChatGPT is not integrated, but GitHub Copilot and Cursor, they are. Code features, and this, I think this is the most important column in this table. ChatGPT only, code features only through custom GPTs. GitHub Copilot has autocomplete, code context, and doc generations. And Cursor also has autocomplete, code-based context, which is different compared to Copilot, because Copilot is able to understand the code that is opened, but Cursor is also able to understand all of your code base. So you can mention a file that are in another folder, and it can read and maybe understand this context of a code that is not in the same folder as your current code. You are also able to insert images here, and this is very, very interesting for front-end developers or for designers, because you can just insert an image, you can insert a scratch of a new screen and ask for an HTML code, and it is able to understand the image and produce a code. ChatGPT is also able to do it as well. And there are other features that I haven't played yet with them. Let's talk about price. ChatGPT, it's free, but if you want, there is a plus plan where you need to pay $20 a month, and you unlock a lot of features like the ChatGPT 4.0, and you are able to use the custom GPTs. GitHub Copilot, you have only 30 days free trial period. Then you need to pay $10 a month. And Cursor, as I said, we have a limited use, and here I did a calculation. So we have an average of 12 requests a day. Maybe it is enough for you, for your work, depending on our project. If it's not enough, then you need to pay $20 a month. What is my recommendation to use these three tools? ChatGPT, I recommend if you're working for a client in a remote server. For example, you have a virtual machine, and there are many security policies, and you cannot install softwares. It is a remote server. In that case, I think ChatGPT is the best option, because you can use it in your machine, in your browser, and then you can have this assistant working together with you. But if you are working locally in your machine, so I think the best option is installing GitHub Copilot or Cursor. And what is my final score for these three tools? The first place, in my opinion, goes to Cursor, because this is a tool with an AI system embedded in the software, so you don't need to switch between many tools. It is partially free, So depending on your demand, it can be enough for you. And you also have some code features that can improve your day-to-day work. The second place goes to ChatGPT. Uh, ChatGPT is really amazing, in my opinion. So sometimes when I need something, I ended up using Cursor and ChatGPT. And the third place goes to Copilot, just because I think a Copilot is not totally free. So I think this is the most reason to put Copilot in the third place. Okay, let's go to the prompts for Sitecore developers. And here I would like it to show you just how I understand about prompts. And here we have categories of prompts. For example, we have prompts for creation, creating things. We have prompts for conversion, improvements, review, explanation, and much more. And for these categories, I see that we have some possibilities on Sitecore. And for example, we can create views and controller using prompts. We can create partial scripts. We can enhance and improve our current code. We can fix bugs or ask it to troubleshoot something. And we can convert legacy code. And we know that some of our clients are migrating from legacy versions, legacy technologies, and they needed this assistant converting this old code. Okay, so let's take a look in our demo. Do you have any questions so far? If not, I will go to...
So I just had a comment there on that your evaluation. That's because I didn't know Cursor, so that's interesting. I want to look at that, but I like Copilot a lot. And that's because of the. Seems like you give points based on that that it has a cost, and that is the most expensive one to use, right?
Yes, actually, it's not the most expensive, but this is the tool that you needed to pay for using.
Yeah.
So Cursor is more expensive. Cursor is $20, and ChatGPT is just Copilot is just $10.
Right. Yeah, and ChatGPT is also 20 if you want to.
If you want the plus plan, yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Okay. So I will just minimize my presentation a little bit. Okay. And okay. So folks, ChatGPT here. Are you seeing my screen, right? Just okay. So here, ChatGPT, as I mentioned, it's a chatbot, very simple. We just needed to ask questions. So here we have this text box where we can type anything here, and it will try to produce an answer for us. I'm gonna start with something very simple. Most of you know what is Sitecore query, right? So we use Sitecore query to filter items within the Sitecore XP on the content tree. And imagine that you have something that something like that, and you, in a first look, you are not so experienced with Sitecore query, and you see it and, oh, what is that? You can try to understand it, reading the documentation, but let's try to ask it for ChatGPT and see if we get a good answer. Of course, we cannot just type this and press enter. We need a better message to explain what we want from ChatGPT. So here I have a prompt where we can type something like, I'm currently working on a Sitecore XP 10.2 project, and it's important to mention that the product that you are using. And there is a field of type multilist with a data source defined as query, etc., etc. Could you please explain what this query does? Let's submit. and here is the answer. As you can see, first it produce initial phrase, and then it breaks down parts of the query. So here you can understand every character, every special character that we have for Sitecore queries. So it's explaining the dot, it's explaining ancestor or self, what is that, templates, what is a slash. So, and we ended up with a summary explaining a general idea of the Sitecore query. So I like this because in less than 1 minute, you learned, if it's your first time, you learned how to use Sitecore query. So this is the basic example that I have for Sitecore. Let's go to another example. But in that case, I'm gonna create a new chat. Let's try to create a PowerShell script. I like PowerShell script, and I think it's very useful for us to generate reports or to perform some operations within the Sitecore content tree. And I have this prompt here, which is, I'm working on a Sitecore XP 10.2 project and need your help to write a PowerShell script. The script should change the display name, which is a field of the items, of the first 10 items under a specific node. Please prompt the user using the show input command to specify the node. After changing the display name, create a package of those items using the new package command. Remember that Sitecore uses the Sitecore PowerShell extension to perform the commands, and some might be different from the standard PowerShell. Here, there are some key points. First, I'm asking it to use specific commands. Why am I doing that? Because sometimes ChatGPT is going to use different commands. That maybe it will work, but it's not what you're expecting. So if you are able to add details, do it. And in that case, I'm asking it to prompt the user using the show input, and also to create a package using new package command. Okay. And here, the final sentence, I am just stating that it needs to use the Sitecore PowerShell extension, because sometimes it produces, it uses commands that are not compatible or are not the best commands for a Sitecore PowerShell script. So let's see what is the result. I'm gonna submit. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the beginning. So initial text, just explaining what we asked. Okay, let's see the scripts. So here, the first thing that you can notice is that it's not using the, what is the command? Show input. It's using read variable. It is not the command that I asked. Even asked, sometimes it produces the wrong answer. But okay, let's move on. Items. It is using get child item, which looks correct. Then there is some check for if the item is new or not, if it has items or not. Then we have an loop here, which is iterating through our items. It is changing the display name. Good. It is using begin edit and end edit, which is needed for this type of operation. And it is trying to create the package. Okay. Here I saw an error, and I was expecting that because, as I said, ChatGPT is not good for the Sitecore because there's no much documentation on for public access in the internet. So ChatGPT is not so good for Sitecore, but I'm gonna try to improve it. And here we have just an explanation about some requests that we did before. Let's try to improve it with a follow-up question. And here I have this follow-up question, which is the code command for packages are wrong. Here's the official documentation. Please read and improve the code. And what I'm gonna do is, I have here open in my browser this Sitecore PowerShell extension, the documentation. This is the official documentation. And here is the new package command. So here it explains how it works. What I'm gonna do is just, I'm gonna copy out this documentation until the example, and I will provide it to ChatGPT. So I'm gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna submit. Okay. So it is regenerating the code. Okay, now looks better. For example, what is the biggest difference here? For the package part, now we have the use of source, which is important to create packages. So as you can see, it is iterating over the items and adding it as a source and adding the sources to the package. And also it is using the support package. So sometimes we need to do this type of thing. We needed to teach the AI to, you are not using it correct. Please use it in this way, and you can provide more information. So as I said, as much as possible, provide all the details that you can. So this is for the PowerShell script. Let's go to another example, but now let's try to convert a legacy code. I'm gonna create a new chat. Let's try to convert web forms to MVC. And here I have this prompt. I prepared this prompt, which is, this project involves converting a Sitecore XP 10.2 application from web forms to Razor View using the MVC pattern. I'll provide you with the AskX file followed by the CSS file. Please wait until I have sent both files before proceeding with the conversion. So here I'm asking something special. I'm asking the AI to wait until I send everything. So let's see how it goes. Sure, take your time. Okay, so I will take my time, and we'll provide the first piece of code, which is the front-end code. So as you can see, it is a ASP.NET code, short code. Okay, it is processing. Take more time than expected. Maybe some delay. Okay. As you can see, there is just one sentence here, and it is waiting for the second part. So please go ahead and provide the corresponding CS file. Yes. So here I have a C# code, and let me copy here. So this is the code behind this front-end code, and as you can see, it's just a chart. It's a class with some methods. I'm gonna submit. Okay, now it is processing. Okay, so let's take a look. So as you can see, we have some initial text here, explain a few things about the work. And as you can see, now we have a controller. So the AI understood that we need a controller. So here is the code for it. Then a model as well, a Razor View, which is the conversion of the ASP.NET code. So there are some logic here. And then we have an explanation about what was done. So this can be very useful for at least to create the base code for our conversion. Okay, now let's go to Cursor and see how it works. So I have Cursor here. I'm gonna open, as I said, very simple. I'm gonna open a folder Oh, I can use the habitat because it is saved here. So this is the habitat project. And let's go to something here. Let me see. Let's go to feature counts. No, let's go to feature person code. Let's do code employee carousel. I have something good here. Person employee carousel. So this is basically carousel for employees. And as you can see, in the middle, I have my code, and here in the right section, I have the chat box, the text box to interact with the AI assistant. And here we can type anything. For example, let me get this prompt here. Please explain this code for me, highlighting the Sitecore specific statements. Okay, so it is explaining parts of the code. Okay. As you can see, I didn't need to provide the code because it understands that we are talking about this code here. We can also ask a follow-up questions. For example, what is dictionary that we are using here? Like this line, you can provide a follow-up question. What is the, okay, here my question about the dictionary. So it is explaining, providing an example, but I'm not so satisfied, so I'm gonna ask another follow-up question because I don't know what is Sitecore dictionary. How can I create it? And here is my another follow-up question. Give me all the steps to create it on Sitecore XP 10.2. Okay, so looks like that we have the steps to create a dictionary in Sitecore XP, going to content editor, navigating to dictionary, and so on. So you can also have this possibility here, asking follow-up questions. Let's go to another example. Let's create an view, and here I'm gonna go to, first let's create the controller. Let's create a new controller here. And I'm gonna call it as employee hero banner controller.cs. Okay, I'm gonna just clean this chat up, and I'm gonna prompt something like that. I'm gonna press Ctrl K and type, write a Sitecore controller in C# to implement a new rendering named employee hero banner. The controller should include a method responsible for populating the model with data from an item located at sitecore/content/hum/aboutus/employees. The item contains the fields name, role, and photo. So here you just need to click on generate. It is processing. Right. So here we have our code. Of course, this is not the final code, but this is a base code. This is the initial code for us, so we can improve it and save our time. As you can see, it is using commands from Sitecore, like Sitecore context. It is creating a model. It is checking for null, and it is using good commands here. And here we can reject or accept. If you accept, the code is read. Okay, let's go to, let's try to create a view here. Try to be fast here. So for the person, following the same example, I'm gonna create, what is the name I have for it? Employee, employee hero banner.cshtml. And again, it's an empty file, and I'm gonna have this prompt here, which is pressing Ctrl-K and type in create a razor view for a new rendering on Sitecore XP 10.2. This rendering is a hero banner that includes the following elements: name, role, photo. The view should receive a model of type employee model.cs. Use Sitecore helper to render the fields. Ensure that the implementation meets web accessibility requirements. Let's see. Okay, very short code, but what is interesting here is that it is using the Sitecore helpers to render the fields. So this is important, and as I said, this is just a start point. You can improve your prompt to have a bigger and better code. So here is just a short example, and the last example that I have for us is, let's go to another item here. I have one interesting example here within accounts controllers, accounts controller. And here I want to create a new code. I will just ask for something different. For example, could you improve this code using best practice and solid principles? Let's submit. So as you can see, it is analyzing the code and proposing a few changes. All right, it's finished. And our options here are analyzing the code, reviewing every part of the suggestions, and accepting or not. Okay, I think this is all the examples that I have for today, and I'm open to questions.
Anyone? Besides, I can see, Álvaro, you really don't want to code. You will have AI do all for you, so you can drink your coffee, or is that it?
Yes, yes. You can get a coffee while it is producing your code, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to say thanks. I really appreciate it. I know I was telling you guys earlier that like I'm new to this space, like the Sitecore space in general. So I'm really just trying to learn as much as possible. I actually work with a company, Data Weavers, as you can see in the background. We do automation of Sitecore. And you know, we're a new company and we're just kind of coming in. So if anyone's curious about Data Weavers and kind of just what we do from our end as well, I'll drop down my LinkedIn and my Calendly. Feel free to message us. You can just do like a quick 15-minute meeting. Definitely a little bit similar to kind of some of the stuff you were saying. But again, thank you so much. I learned a lot. That's all I have.
That's great.
Cool.
Hey, well, I actually have a question. Hey, Álvaro, thank you so much. It was really great.
Riva. Nice.
It was really great presentation. I have a question
Okay,
about
thanks so
the Copilot. You mentioned that it can process the code base. Is it correct?
Copilot, the code context. Cursor can understand the code.
Cursor, yes, sorry.
Based. Yes.
And it's like the whole solution, or you need to feed it some files separately?
It seems that it is the whole solution. I haven't tested it a lot, but you can, for example, in your prompt, you can mention, like you mentioned someone on Instagram using the @ character. So you can just type the @ and you can point to the file. So I'm still testing it to understand, but it's very interesting because you can maybe ask, can you copy this specific file, but doing some modifications. So this is basically how it works.
Yeah, it's really interesting to know if it can, see the whole solution and then provide some answers regarding the overall code.
Yes, sometimes we need more context. Not only our code, but we need more context about the whole solution, right?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else, guys? Well, what would be the next step then? Let me ask you, like, where are we in 6 months from now? You're sitting at a coffee bar. You're not even at your computer at that time. Is that?
Yeah. Yes, good question. I don't know.
It's funny.
Yes.
Yeah, but it is definitely moving fast, and and when it first came out, there was talk to a lot of people in the space, like, oh man, it's gonna take away the jobs and blah blah blah. But it's there has always been new stuff, and how fun is it to create those controller and those views or those forms that you showed, because we all done it 5,000 times. That's not the fun part of it. The fun part is, as you said, this is a starting point. Let's get on with the very custom for that client or for that project. That's the fun part. To create yet another field or a form or so that's kind of very boring. So that's kind of nice. You can just get it over with and move on.
Yes, for me the fun part was converting legacy code, because converting legacy code, working with legacy code is not fun. But when you can use an AI to help you, it becomes fun.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting times, for sure.
Yes. Let's see the next step.
Anyone else? I see Paul is on. No? Any questions, guys? Okay. Well, if you have no questions, then I'll maybe start singing, and you don't want that, believe me.
No questions? Are you sure?
Damn it. Sing really fast. So I'll skip that right away. It was just a fun comment. Right, then, cool. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you, especially Álvaro. Thank you so much. It was really
thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. It's again very beneficial to me, someone who's new to the industry. So I appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing you in Microsoft Teams and LinkedIn land in the future.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks for organizing.
Okay. Thank you
all
so much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.